Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm MisterBo, and for today's Crash Team Rumble video, we're doing something a little bit different. There's no real news to cover on this video, but instead, we're going to be going over my wish list and my hopes for Crash Team Rumble and what I think this game will need in order to succeed. Of course, you're watching a video about my wish list, but I want to know what your wish list is, so in the comments below, let me know what you want to see in Crash Team Rumble, whether that's game modes, characters, maps, or whatever it might be. Let me know, I can't wait to read through them. If you do enjoy this video, click that like button and subscribe for more Crash Team Rumble content, so let's get into it. The first thing, which is pretty obvious, and the thing that everyone's going to want from this game, but that is a fun gameplay loop. A fun gameplay loop that keeps you engaged, that keeps you wanting to come back and play, but with that also variety. This game needs to have multiple ways to play, multiple modes, whether that's 4v4 and then 3v3, 2v2, 1v1, free-for-all modes. Someone in the comments section, and I'm sorry I can't remember who, mentioned what about an elimination style game mode where if you are taken out by an enemy, well, you're out until maybe your team revives you. There's definitely a lot of variety they could put into this game, and of course we don't have all the details on how the gameplay actually works currently, but when we do, we might be able to start figuring out and theorizing about what else we could be seeing. Number 2, strong content at launch, but also post-launch. There's nothing worse than a game coming out incomplete, or a game coming out bare bones and then no post-launch content. The big example of this is Halo Infinite. It had such a strong launch last year, and then nothing. A whole year went by, and in that 1 year, only 2 brand new multiplayer maps were added to the game. This game needs to come out swinging with a ton of content in the game, but also a strong post-launch content plan with new characters, maps, and other items being added in on the regular. If this game wants to succeed and outlive that of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled Grand Prix, it will need to deliver on that. Which brings us nicely on to number 3, something that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled really suffered from, and that is the online experience. This game is centered around that, so it can't have the same problems that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled had, in where lobbies would just disband all the time. You'd load into a race and then it would never start, or you'd load into a race and everyone else would just suddenly leave. We do have confirmation that this game will have crossplay, which is a massive sigh of relief, because that was one of the major things that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled was missing. However, we need solid servers, we need online lobby options, and again, going back to various different ways to play. One thing I think this game will need, being an online game, is a strong reason to continue playing. And that is why I hope this game has a ranking system. Whether that's just simply leveling up to unlock stuff, or a proper CSR ranking system where you can start at bronze and maybe go all the way up to diamond, that will be something that is needed to allow people to continue playing and have something to drive for, alongside maybe something like a battle pass where you're constantly leveling it up. So good online stable lobbies, as well as some kind of ranking system. Number 4, an observer mode, or spectator cam. This is an online game, and hopefully we'll be able to set up tournaments. I would love to be able to dive in and watch other people play. If I want to set up my own tournament and have people playing against each other, hopefully I can hop in and just watch from a spectator point and not have to actually be in the game as a player. So that's just a small one here, but an observer mode would be really cool. We briefly touched on some kind of battle pass to level up to keep you continuing to play, but this game needs to also make sure it has reasonable monetization and microtransactions. If people play this game and go, hold on a minute, they're trying to rob us of everything we have just to buy one skin, people aren't going to stick around for very long. So this game needs to have a reasonable monetization structure that people think, hey, you know what, if I spend a couple of quid here, if I spend a couple of quid there, I can buy a few things that I want to customize my character or something like that, but don't feel like it's a necessary thing and have FOMO. Yes, you can have an online rotating store, but make sure none of that is pay to win. Number 6, fan favorite characters. We already know some of our fan favorite characters are making their return from Crash Bandicoot 4, and we know we're going to be seeing some new characters like Cat-Bat, but we also want to see characters that weren't even in Crash Bandicoot 4 from previous Crash games. Personally, I'd like to see Koala Kong, Pinstripe, Komodo Joe, and Big Norm and Small Norm from Nitro Kart make an appearance in this game. Toys for Bob have a huge character backlog to go over, and I'd like to see some of those characters be added in as post-launch content or DLC, along with maybe a couple of new characters here and there. If, for example, every season is introducing a brand new character, yes, you have those new characters, but it probably won't have the same excitement as if suddenly an old fan favorite character comes into the game and everyone dives on to play as their favorite Crash character. Sticking with the characters, number 7 comes a ton of customization items. Beanox did an incredible job with Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. You had multiple character skins, kart customization was great, you could change the tires, the paint job, the decals, and so on and so forth. Having a lot of customization options in this game is going to be something that is going to keep people wanting to play and to make their character feel like their character. And then the final thing that I want to see this game have is a narrative. No, I don't mean a story mode or an adventure mode. I don't think this game is going to have that, but I want this game to have a narrative. We've been talking about Wumpa League for the last 2 years. Wumpa League probably is going to be that narrative in this game. Why are these characters fighting against each other? We saw the narrative in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled be that Oxide had come down and challenged everyone for a race. In Crash Bash, Uka Uka and Aku Aku decided to fight against each other. I feel like this game will need some kind of narrative that will hopefully tie the seasons together. Maybe we get cutscenes like we did in Nitro Fueled where you have Chicken Stew with CTR TV, and it can just be CTR TV again based on the name of this game, that introduces us to the season every time, maybe with new themes, again like we saw in Nitro Fueled, as well as Crash Bandicoot on the Run. A game that does this incredibly well is Fortnite. Every season is something different, but it has loose narrative threads around it, like cutscenes and so on and so forth. So there you have it. That is my list of things that I would like to see in this game when it launches sometime in 2023. My hopes, my wish list of items that I think this game needs to have in order to do well, in my opinion. Of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, that's just my wish list. Let me know in the comments below what your wish list is for Crash Team Rumble. And if you enjoyed this video, click that like button and subscribe for more Crash Team Rumble content and coverage. If you still do want more, there's already a ton of stuff on the channel for you to check out. Apart from that though, thank you very much for watching and for hanging out with me. I do super appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you around, but until then, as always, make sure you take care. Cheers.